Hi. Welcome to the first official episode of Banter and Babble. I'm the Dude79, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. This is our first time live, dude. We've done a couple of pilots of Banter and Babble, but now we're officially live. What's up, Prime Gaming? Prime Gaming in the chat?
Prime Gaming in the chat, what up?
So, Tone, tell the people, what are we doing here? Why are we streaming Banter and Babble? What the hell is the point of this stuff?
Honestly, because we want to give you ourselves to you.
Oh.
To you. Really, honestly, we just thought we'd sit down. We want to collaborate. We want to talk about a lot of different things, whether it's games, media, anything. We sit around. We're clearly big fans of a lot of different things, nerddom, fandom, whatever you want to say, of many things, actually. We get into these conversations. Me and you have always been into these conversations about this, that, and the other. You visit me at work. We talk on WhatsApp, and it's always heavy conversations about stuff that we feel like is fun to talk about, but it could also benefit anybody else getting involved in the conversation as well, too. So here we are after last December of even just putting the inspiration thought in somebody's head, and finally now, here we are.
Yeah, we just want to talk about games, talk about movies, talk about TV shows, whatever we're in the mood for. We just like having a conversation. We like talking. We want to get involved with you in the chat. Prime Gaming's in there tonight. We see Pikachu's in there tonight.
Stormy. Hello,
Stormy's in there tonight. Appreciate the host. And like I said,
Thanks,
what we'll
Joe.
do is when we do this show, we're obviously going to be having a discussion about certain things. We want to have discussions with you in the chat. We appreciate the hosts and the files, and we'll try to acknowledge those after the fact. We don't want to break up the conversation, especially if you guys and girls are talking about something cool in the chat. We want to talk about that and make that the focus. But we appreciate your hosts.
Absolutely.
We appreciate your files. We're definitely going to give you a shout out after the show. But other than conversation points and comments being made in the chat, we'll definitely do the best to acknowledge hosts and whatnot after the show. But first of all, Tone, so it's our first episode.
Right.
Let's talk about what you did today, man. You had kind of an emotional, kind of a crazy day today.
Today was definitely an up and down all around. I actually lost a family member today, unfortunately. But hey, it's the old adage, rest easy, right?
Yep.
But that's definitely something that I'll be dealing with over the next few weeks. And then of course, worst case scenario, you have a day from hell at work, right? Like,
why not?
Why not? Why not just throw a wrench at it, right? So today, I go to the bank to take my bank deposit back, have it counted up, blah, 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 right? The young lady looks at me and goes, this $100 bill is a counterfeit. And I'm like, I've known her for a long time. I'm like, you're messing with me, right? No, she's like, no, this is a $10 bill. It's bleached. I'm like, zoink, Scoob, because now we got a problem, right? So that spiraled into phone calls, yada, yada, yada. And I was already having a beast of a day anyways because, I had to get my brakes taken care of, so I had to drop my vehicle off. A lot of complexities today, and what usually is in retail, for the dealt with it. But next thing I know, I'm at work, and about an hour after the fact, Secret Service agent comes walking in. Did not expect that. That was a new one, and he didn't look like it. So no, they do not wear all black and didn't have the black card.
That's what I thought. That's what I asked before. I was like, was he wearing all black?
Right,
was it a
right.
black car? Was he with Tommy Lee Jones?
Right, I was going to say Will Smith. Yeah,
yeah.
Where's the MIB, right? But it was a very interesting conversation. I did some of this, that, and the other track, and he was really cool and calm. And matter of fact, he even said, don't freak out about this because it's kind of going around. This is a hard one sometimes to catch, and people, it slips by. You got to do what you got to do. So that was my day. Mm-hmm. How was your day?
Well, I successfully bought a bunch of games from a local retailer, and I used counterfeit bills. So it was a great day. They worked every time. They worked every time that I want to. So I was really, really happy about that. But no, my day sucked.
Yeah.
It's just been one of the. It was like a Monday today. Like I woke up and I was like, it should be hump day. You should be in a great mood.
Yeah, you should be in a great mood. It's hump day.
And no, work just seriously tied me to the ground and kicked me in the nuts. And normally I'm all for it, but for when it's at work, it's not really my thing.
Yeah, no, it was not the ideal hump day.
No, it was not at all. So I'm just glad that we managed to get through the day. Here we are. We get to sit down. What are we drinking tonight? I don't know. Can we even talk about beer or what we're drinking on Mixer?
Well, they're not sponsoring or we're not promoting. We're just saying, hey, this is what we're drinking. We're from Michigan. We are in one of the meccas.
Look,
when it
everyone's
comes to
watching.
beer.
Everyone's watching Ninja right now. Anyway, nobody gives a fuck what we're drinking. What are we drinking, Tom? Tell 'em.
So this is the first thing they can see hidden right here. I'm going to show this. So you can see it in the screen right down here. Where's the can? This is I gave dude earlier no cream pie. There you go.
And anyone that knows me knows I'll never say no to a cream pie.
Cream pie. Pigeon Hill oatmeal cream pie, great brew out of Muskegon here in Michigan. This is Atwater Brewery. They do a lot of great brews too.
Yeah.
Now they're always not the sweetest.
Nope.
They're sometimes a little bit more tart at times even. But they have a very good solid flavor that's just very like you'll find these flavors and it doesn't like go crazy on you. Don't get sick of it. It's just you can drink a 6 or 4 or 5 and be like, man, that's a really good flavor.
Right.
This is the Traverse City cherry.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It's very good. That's one thing I've liked about when we do especially when we were working on the pilots for this. Tone kind of set the tone. Like, hey, look, every week I'm bringing a 6-pack of different beer, so I get all shit faced during the pilot. So I'm probably gonna get shit faced tonight because these beers are actually kind of strong, aren't they?
I mean, not too bad. I mean, if I brought up some of the Imperials, it might knock you on your ass a little bit. But
No, these are only 4.
And
I'm like prime gaming old.
Yeah, we're gonna need Prime over here in about a half hour because this guy's gonna fall asleep.
If Prime had one of these, he'd be doing party tricks. It'd be disgusting, and the stream would get pulled off the air right away.
That's not even Prime right there. He's sleeping. He's got one of his kids on here talking.
Too. Yeah,
you know it's true.
He's not even, he's in a snuggie somewhere.
Yeah, he's in a snuggie.
But like what we'll talk about, every week is it's just going to depend on what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what we've gone and see, what TV shows, movies, and whatnot. And one of the big things that we've been playing this week is Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Ooh boy!
Now, obviously, this is a hotly anticipated follow-up to Ghost Recon Wildlands. You, Prime Gaming, and a bunch of other guys have a ton of time invested in Wildlands. You guys have played a lot of that, and so now here comes Breakpoint. A lot of high expectations behind it. We played a decent amount. I know you played a lot more than I have. But the one thing that's kind of surprising about this right now is as much fun as we had, we streamed it the other night and had a really good time. This game is not reviewing as well as a lot of people had thought it would. It's hovering somewhere in the 50s or 60s, I believe, on Metacritic.
See, I thought most of it was in the 70s, but
maybe it is in the 70s. I know when they first started coming out, it was pretty low, which is shocking because it's a follow-up to a game that was very well received.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I put Wildlands in my top 10 games this generation. Yeah, I put 80 hours into it.
That's a big one.
Tactical shooter.
That's a lot of love. So we jumped into it. We streamed it on Friday night. Prime Gaming, he got the good one, so he was on it earlier in the week.
Yeah, pinkies.
But we got into it Friday night. It was you,
Yellow.
Prime Gaming, the Couch Bum, and myself. Yeah. We hopped on. We did some 4-player co-op, and the laughs ensued. Like, it was just as fun and goofy as you would expect. But the cool thing about Ghost Recon, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint, is it's very similar in some ways to the playstyle that you see in Division 2. Third person, cover shooter, and what have you.
Yeah.
But it's a lot different in terms of how you can take down the enemy. I mean, it's a headshot is a headshot, and it'll drop the guy. It's not a bullet sponge. So it rewards you for more tactical play. It's obviously far more tactical than the Division 2. But, we played it for about, 2 or 3 hours. I think we streamed it for.
Oh, yeah. It was about 3 for me, I think.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun to stream. But, I mean, when you think about the reviews, I think this thing that stands out to you and I so far is it's kind of a buggy game.
Yeah. Prime will tell you too.
Oh, I know he will. And there's a lot of bugs in the game right now that things they got to get ironed out. But I mean, other than the bugs, it feels a lot like I'm playing Wildlands. Right. I don't know where the I don't ever want to say critics are wrong or that they're full of it. Maybe some guys and girls just don't like the game, and I respect that. Yep. But based on what I was playing, it felt a lot like Ghost Recon Wildlands. And sometimes in Ghost Recon Wildlands was a game I didn't think really needed a lot of tweaking.
I really didn't.
I mean, you can obviously iterate upon it and make it better in certain ways. But I mean, based on what you played so far, what are your thoughts on Breakpoint?
Well, I really like the elements they added from Division 2. It added the yellows. We got Prime's already talking over there. I got so many yellows, It's getting all the yellow drops, everybody. Look at my yellow gun. But that stuff is done well. It's not too much for Division is number heavy. You got to be number crunching. You know what I hate? I hate fucking crunching numbers. I'm not a mathematician.
Right.
I don't like math.
Right.
But in a game like that, I also know because of that's the kind of game that gets me into it a little bit. So whatever. But it's also the spongy feeling. Like Division 2 is great. Division 2 was really fun. It was very good move from Division 1. They did all the things they could have done from Division 1 that was bad and made Division 2 a great game.
Yep.
But just like any game like that, it kind of sometimes gets stagnant, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about Wildlands and why I stick with those a little bit more in this is because it's tactical shooting. I like to try and do stealth stuff.
Yes.
I love being able to headshot stuff, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so far, Breakpoint is hitting a lot of the things that I love. It's, the cosmetics are a little bit smarter, but that all said, things that you would point out that I totally agree with, menus are slow and clunky.
God, yeah.
The UI in that sense, like some of the areas are okay, but when you're trying to navigate it, it's real slow.
God. Yeah, it's because like when you hit the button, first of all, there's just entirely too many menus. There's a whole lot of sub menus in there.
Too much menu, yeah.
And when you're hitting like the triggers to jump to the next page, there's a delay from when you press it to when it actually appears on the screen. So you can find yourself jumping ahead, and you're just like, damn it, just take me to this fucking page immediately, So I mean, the delay on there and throughout the menus is really, really sloppy. And to be honest with you, the more I explore the map, because obviously the thing with Ghost Recon Breakpoint is you have to go around and find intel, and when you find intel, things appear on the map. And I don't know if you've looked at the map recently, but that thing is full. There's a ton of shit on the map. I feel like when I go to the map, I'm like, this is just way too cluttered.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on there, and I just think the menus need to be cleaned up and make them a little bit more accessible. And like you said, that lag in between menus and stuff. Like I just find myself like I'm going click, click, click. I'm like, why am I still on this page? It doesn't get to the page where I want to go. I'm like, well, I'm going to click again because it's not on my page. But then once it reaches that page, it jumps ahead one more page because I hit click again. It's like, just tighten this up a little bit. Clean up the menus, clean up the UI, and then obviously there's a lot of bugs in the game. There's goofy stuff that goes on.
Yeah, and it's funny because like the menus are slow, but then you get into your character and like you're moving really fast. Like it feels so like I almost feel like you got wheels on your feet.
Yes,
like those little roller skates on your tennis shoes you do in the mall still sometimes when you're bored on Saturday. Like that's how it feels. And like you're in the helicopters, everything moves a little bit faster, but then you get in the menus, it's slow. So not only that, but clearly the bugs, and we'll get to that in a moment, but I honestly feel, somebody brought this to my attention, I feel like Wildlands made that good about the open world and everything you do. Basically, you were your own base of operation.
Yes.
That was cool. Them adding the division elements and stuff, great. But what I don't like is when you get into the base area,
the social hub or whatever, the arrow or whatever it is.
It's like it takes you almost out of the game. It's like you just stepped on my toe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that sucks. That kind of takes you away from the flow of the game. Like they could have done a little. I don't need to go to a base of operations or a hub. If I want to hang out with my friends, let's two menu clicks and call it a day, right?
Right.
But yes, overall, all that said, the biggest issue I think, and this is probably where some of the reviews and the critics coming into, is hey, it's a typical Ubisoft live game. Like you just got to live in that world and that mentality. So you'd think they'd be smart about it by now. Yes, it's very buggy. There's clipping issues. There's all kinds of bugs. Like I saw something about a grenade recently too, like grenades getting stuck or not appearing. Somebody's talking about that now too, or not getting out of a truck or something like that, and like collision issues. So come on, guys. You had a couple betas.
Yeah,
it's a live game. You're forcing me now to play with people in a game that wasn't forced originally because this requires that internet.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. There's a lot of stuff, and Prime's mentioning some of the same stuff that you're talking about and some other things. He's spawning under the map, and the one thing that really in I don't know how many spots in the map it's like this, but obviously this is a game you want to play stealthily. You want to creep around, time your attacks
opposite
on
of Prime.
Enemies, opposite of what Prime does. But the thing is, like, the enemies in this game can sometimes see through cover. They can see, like, for example,
that's come up a couple times too.
I'm engaging in combat, and then the Panther class has the ability where you throw down smoke bombs.
Pretty cool.
Which is awesome. And then you can vanish from sight, and then you can kind of reposition yourself to gain the advantage back on them. But what'll happen is I'll pop that, I'll run off in the distance, I'll hide behind a tree, and you'll wait for their alert level to drop down to white again where they're not suspecting anything. But then, like, I'm behind a tree, they're behind a tree, clear line of sight, they can't see me, but all of a sudden the meter starts climbing again. And I'm like, how can you see me?
Right.
You can't see me. And so that's the only thing that's really pissing me off about that. It's like it ruins the tactical element of it, where you're trying to be stealthy, yet the enemies can see you as you're hiding behind trees and you're out of sight. So yeah, there's a lot of bugs, and those types of bugs will take you out of that immersive experience, because that's why you want to play the game. You want to play stealthily. You want to do all that stuff, and you can't, and that ruins it for me.
Yeah. But honestly, they'll get it right. I mean, like you said earlier, if Rainbow Six is anything to go off of Ubisoft.
If this is anything, this is almost identical to Rainbow Six Siege when it launched. We had a beta a couple weeks prior, and then we had a beta right before launch, like the Friday before launch. the Siege went into beta, total disaster.
Yeah.
It was a total disaster. And then Siege launched, a total disaster. Bugs everywhere. It was a bug-ridden game, and everyone thought, this thing's fucking dead. There's no way that this game is going to last. Lo and behold, here we are. I think they're on season 4. And Rainbow Six Siege is, in my opinion, honestly, and I mean this, it is the definitive tactical first-person shooter this gen.
It is what I call what separates the kids from the adults in your gaming.
Absolutely.
Hands down. Like, there's some toxicity in the community.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere. This one, sometimes the trolling can be bad, I know. But you have to have what I don't have, which is patience.
Patience and a unit in the player. Yep. You gotta learn the map. Like,
it's insane.
Rainbow Six Siege is one of those games where map knowledge is integral. It is important as well as playing with the team and working together and calling stuff out and all that stuff. Yeah, it's very sweaty, but it's also very rewarding. And I mentioned it before, I grew up on SOCOM, so I'm all about the teamwork. I'm all about the tactical gameplay, calling stuff out, ambushes, all that shit.
I'm a big fan of that too.
And Siege launched with all those issues, but here they are. They've managed to iron out all the issues, and we're on season 4, and it's just going strong. But that's incredible, and that's what a testament to Ubisoft, and that's why I'm not too concerned with Breakpoint right now. Yes, it's riddled with bugs. Yes, there's issues with it, but this is a live game. This is a game that's going to be iterated upon year after year after year, and it's going to get better and better. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's unfortunate that we're in the same position that we were with Siege. You would think, it's cool that they can recover from this, but maybe next time, let's try to find a way to avoid the situation in general.
And not to, we won't open this can of worms right now, but there's a whole discussion we could have about broken games coming out. And we could have that discussion too, right? Yeah. But we're desensitized to it now.
And that's the thing. Like, that's one thing. You always hear about the complaints and stuff, and I get it. When I buy a game, and when anyone buys a game, you want that game to work,
right?
Okay, you want the game to work, but dude, these games are so big, especially games like Ghost Recon, Breakpoint. The map is massive. Okay, this is a huge game with a lot of stuff going on, and as you can have a massive QA team, stuff is still going to fall through the cracks. We're never going to get away from the day one patch. We're never going to get away from bugs being in live games. It's never going to happen. So the best thing gamers can do right now is, yes, you can expect a product that works, but also don't expect it to be 100%. It's going to have issues. This is just going to be the norm going forward.
Right.
This will always be a thing, especially because, if you think about it, man, all these games, there's so much put into them. And we're getting the next gen. These games are going to get bigger. There's going to be more put into them.
They're going to 100 gig on a disc now.
Yeah, they're going to be massive.
The Ultra 4Ks.
And when you have 100 gigabits of information, there's going to be shit in there that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, this is just, take the studio or take the publisher's reputation. Ubisoft has shown they learned it with Assassin's Creed Unity. They learned it with Rainbow Six Siege. Yes, the game has launched in kind of a buggy state, but their track record shows they got shit under control.
It's the old adage. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And as an old MMO player, it still applies.
So. Absolutely. Yes. So we want to get you guys' thought in the chat. What do you think of Ghost Recon Breakpoint? I know Prime has got, what's he up to? Is he up to 150? I think
years old? Yes, absolutely. Crunk actually also called it Breakpoint earlier and in chat too. And that
no, he did.
He did call it Breakpoint, but he's a real smart ass. But I know Prime is I think recently the last couple of days he's been telling everybody in stream that he gives it like a 7.5.
Yeah, yep, 7.5.
It's fair. It's still a viable game, but if you hang in there, they'll definitely fix it and stuff like that. I know March has been recently playing. I don't know how far March has gotten into it as of recently though either, but what are you guys' thoughts? What are you guys thinking about Breakpoint out there? I know clearly you're putting that much time into it, Prime. You're enjoying it, but you
see what's cool, and the other thing you got to think about too with these games as well is that these live games are never ever the same game at launch as they are a year from now or 6 months from now. Things are going to change a lot for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Destiny is a prime example of that. That game has gone through, every time it's launched, whether it was Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, I was like, oh, this shit is fucked. They done screwed it up. But Bungie is very good at listening to the community, talking to the community, and evolving the game to where it's acceptable to the community. And that's what these live games are. Anthem on one hand is what is an example of what happens when a developer just doesn't give a shit anymore. I mean, Anthem is just a complete disaster. I mean, yeah, you know what's going on. I mean, everyone knows what's going on. It's a shit show.
They're scrapping it and starting something completely from fresh. So
yeah, Anthem is a disaster. But like Division 2 has been getting worked on and tweaked. But you know, I know Destiny has its detractors. I know it has its detractors, but I tell you, man, everyone's talking about Destiny 2 right now. Nobody's talking about Anthem.
Right.
Nobody's talking about Division 2. Hate on it all you want. Bungie has a way to keep that game relevant every time something comes out. You know, they keep that game going, and I love that about Bungie. I love that about Destiny.
And, you know, and what were people saying last week when it came to games? How busy we were. Breakpoint just came out, Apex came out with a new season, and then Destiny. It was literally all three all week being talked about when it came to games.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So there's a lot to do right now. So, but yeah, we're really enjoying Breakpoint. It's a fun game to play with friends. It's got that, you know, it's got the tactical elements, or you can just, you know, play it like Grand Theft Auto. You just run around and blow shit up and run buddies over.
Yeah, which is what we actually do a good portion of the time.
Yeah, that was a fun stream. We streamed it last Friday, and it was a ride. I had a great time with it. So good times with Breakpoint. Now the other thing we wanted to talk about tonight, and I feel like this is a discussion that could really drag on, but we don't want to spoil anything, okay? Because the movie just came out. But we went out, you, Prime Gaming, a host of other characters.
What we call the Mandate.
The Mandate. We all went out and watched Joker on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about Joker, you guys.
Yeah.
But again, we're not going to go spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers at all. We're just going to talk about, you know, things like you want to hear about. Was the performance good? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Juaquin Phoenix's performance in this movie. How is the story? And the one thing I want to get your thoughts on is how you feel Todd Phillips handled the material, the source material of Batman and Joker, with the liberties that might have been taken in there. There's certain characters that are a little bit different this time around than what you're normally doing. But first, I want to get your thoughts, and I want to get you guys' thoughts in the chat. Guys and girls, if you have seen Joker, sound off. Let us know what you thought of Joker.
Be careful,
what
spoilers,
though. No spoilers.
Spoilers,
just general thoughts. But there's a couple things we're going to touch on tonight that I think are worth talking about. But first off, dude, your thoughts on Joker.
So, wow. To sum it up, honestly, I'll put wow. Like,
yep.
It's, and you got to be careful of comparing things, right? But, and I kept, like, when I came back, all I could think about was the cerebralness of it.
No, you're good. That's what I'm checking on right now.
The cerebral, when you leave that movie, all you're doing, you're literally doing nothing but thinking about what you had just saw.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking about, you know, honestly, I need to see it a second time. I know you saw it a second time, so you got even crazier perspective on it. But the amount of, man, I don't even know where to begin. Like, so you take this character based off, well, honestly, there's not a lot of background to Joker. That's the great thing about it.
Right.
You know, comic book character, you know, you can do your spins on it. Like, when DC does these characters and brings them to a point where it's kind of grounded in reality, why the Nolan ones are so good, they did that with Joker. But interesting enough, too, it was also a POV. So you're kind of living the life of.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Which is also unique. And sometimes you almost forget that, and then you kind of realize it, and then it comes full circle, and you're trying to, like, man, what is going on with this, right? Like, you're sitting here, and, like, there'll be scenes where you're like, whoa! And I remember a couple times looking at you and going, like, what the fuck am I seeing right now? Like, this is unbelievable. Like, you didn't expect this. There was no campiness to it, and really, and if there was, it was because it tied in with the character and what the character was, which is great, which is fine. But you know, man, oh man, like I left that place, the theater, and I was like trying to wrap my head around, like, going back in time for certain things. Like, did I miss this? How did I miss this? And like, I just know that there's not a lot of times in you got the MCU, which does its comic book characters, and it's very comic booky, and it's very aware also of what it is, and jokey at times. And this is a whole nother level, folks. This is cerebral. This is I don't know if the right word is psychosomatic. Like, it's gonna make you think, and it's gonna really kind of, like, I mean, they talk about the violence, and honestly, I didn't think it was as violent as people had thought. Oh my God, it was violent, sure. And instead of, like, scenes where people shoot people, they cut away 3 or 4 times. And you see a point blank shot, and it's going through the whole thing. They're not cutting away from that.
Right.
If that's your take on violence, well, go watch Band of Brothers or something. I don't know. Like, it's not that bad, right? It's just it's coming from a real dark place. And you're watching a progression of a character go from here, which is already kind of not great, to more not great.
Right.
To a degree, I guess, if that makes sense. Whereas most times you see like these redemption arcs, and in a way, the character kind of has a redemption arc, but it's from that character's perspective. It's redemption, and basically it's a movie where everything is objective and it's going to make you think, and it's kind of like Inception did.
Yeah.
Kind of like Inception did. It made you think, and everybody's got their own answer.
Yeah. Oh, and you're right about the violence thing. I think there's a total of 6. And none of them are anything like you see in Deadpool or anything. I mean, the violence it's what you would see in an R-rated movie. There's people getting, they die in various ways, but it's nothing like gratuitous. It's nothing like over the top. I mean, it's just, you've seen it 1,000 times. So
it fits the piece.
Yeah, it fits the piece. It fits the period. I mean, it's not overdone or anything like that. So, but you mentioned, it's like Inception. And the one thing that I like about Joker, and you and I talked a little bit about before the show about my theory on a couple of things, and we're going to avoid that stuff because it is spoilery. But I guess the one thing I would tell people is if you're going to go see Joker, obviously see it 2 times at least, see it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be and the reason that is because you can go into Joker expecting 2 things. You can expect a straightforward comic book origins movie. Okay, you can go in and expect something very straightforward, and that's fine. But if you stop for a second and start to analyze a lot of the little clues, there is an entire world open of interpretation here. You can take this movie a lot of different ways. There's certain things. The second time I went to saw, there's just a couple of scenes that stood out, and I was just like, I don't want to say what it was, but there are scenes where there's a scene there, and it looks like almost kind of like a throwaway scene, like a scene that you could just cut to the, end up on the cutting room floor because it doesn't really have anything. Or it could mean everything.
It's almost like those choose your own adventures, right?
It really is.
Because it takes your mind, and when you were telling me this, you blew my mind
before.
Oh
man, I was losing my shit.
When I first got here, we started talking about this again, and like when he brought this realization to me, or this epiphany, and I was like, I really don't even know what to think. Like at this point, I got to watch it again clearly, but it's like it branches. Like that scene you talk about could literally be nothing.
Yep.
You could be overlooking it.
Yep.
Or it really could be a whole, which even then from that, whichever way you take it, can also spider off into other different ideas and thoughts.
Yep.
It's pretty, like, I'm telling you people out there right now, like, if he doesn't win an award for this, first of all, shame on somebody.
Oh, man.
Todd Phillips, we're talking about a guy who films
old school
road trip.
I don't know if it was Road Trip. What was it was the one with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis where they're on the road trying to get Robert Downey Jr. home. If anyone in the chat knows the name of that movie, please let me know.
I don't remember that.
But Old School, he did all the Hangover movies. So he's a comedy guy. He's a funny guy.
Right, and we talked about in the last pilot, like you take these comedy guys, and this translates when you think about it, existentially to Joker. You take comedy people who all of a sudden going like, Tom Hanks is doing serious movies?
Right.
He's a funny guy. What's he going to do? He was on SNL or something one time or whatever. Bosom Buddies. That was the show, I think, in the early
Bosom
80s,
Buddies, yes,
right?
yes.
And all of a sudden he starts spinning out these things, and then people are like, we got to have him for this. Was it Philadelphia was the first one?
Philadelphia was the first
that was
big
the first
hit
one that was
for
big
him,
for him?
The first dramatic turn.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could say Big was kind of a dramatic turn, even though it was a comedy.
It was comedy.
But there were some dramatic elements where he got to show a little bit of range.
That's true.
That's true. It was an 80s comedy, but it had he could show some range.
Classic.
Yeah.
Too,
Oh, it's an awesome movie. But yeah, Philadelphia was like his first real big, unless you want to count Bonfire of the Vanities, which was just not a good. He was horribly miscast in that movie. Like it tried to take him and put him in a hardcore drama, and it didn't work at all. Bonfire of the Vanities. If you ever want to watch Tom Hanks in an awkward movie, check that one out. That is really, really awkward.
I might masturbate to it, but the point is that you take these guys.
Yep.
And you give because here's where it comes full circle. So funny guys trying to be funny, making these funny stuff, trying to be funny, trying to be a comedian, trying to do stand up, trying to do improv. People on SNL and everything. Shit's not easy because you're probably going to fail more than you're going to succeed because you can make anybody laugh, maybe, or it's just yourself laughing, or just the people are just trying to appease you,
right? And
then to flip it and say, which is hard to do. Flip it and then be like, here's my serious role. And you're like, what? Yeah. And that's kind of what happened here. Like, you took a guy who clearly was stuck into some form of lane and was able to, because the studio pretty much said, do your thing. And he did his thing, let Joaquin do his thing. And we have a movie that it's probably for the rest of its existence, people are going to be going, "What does it mean? This?
Right.
Could it mean this?"
Yep. What's the point? You know,
That's the
what
legacy.
was you know, is this really happening? Is this not really happening? But yeah, dude, I love when you see like actors or directors step out of their comfort zone, like you said. Like Tom Hanks is a good example. Bill Murray is another great example of a guy who was hilarious in the 80s, but then you look at Lost in Translation, you look at a lot of the Wes Anderson movies that he's been in.
That's true.
Allows Bill Murray to kind of expand a little bit on his range.
That's true.
Jim Carrey is another actor who was, I mean, goofy as hell, but then he had the Truman Show, and then he's done a lot of serious movies. Some of them haven't been very good, but you can see their range. And then we talked about last week, Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. I mean, this is going to be another movie that's just kind of like, whoa, just outside of his comfort zone. You know, we've seen him in Spanglish and we've seen him in other movies, but you know, it's really cool to see these funny guys jump into the serious stuff.
Right,
man.
right. And then usually it's actors, but right now we're seeing a director do that. It's like, you know, sometimes these directors get these visions and it's next level. I mean, clearly the actors is the ones that's going to sometimes hop in the driver's seat and go with it if you do it properly, which he did with Joaquin. And here you go. There's a movie that we're going to be talking about for the rest of our days, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And it's funny, you know, Prime mentions this, you know, and it's interesting to think about it. You know, Joaquin Phoenix is not a guy that does sequels. He does a lot of art house movies. He does a lot of thought-provoking movies. He doesn't chase the big paycheck. He likes to do movies that are you know, unique movies. And Prime's right. You know, Joaquin, like, they had to really come to him and say, hey, man, will you please do this? Todd Phillips said he wrote the movie with Joaquin Phoenix in mind, and it took some convincing. And you know, and then, you know, we all know that he doesn't do sequels, but now you told me before the show that, you know, he's open to it.
That's some of the headlines I've seen all week,
which is crazy, and I'm cool with it. I wouldn't mind seeing where they go with it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where I watch this movie and I'm like, you know what? If this is a one-off, I dig.
I'd rather it be a one-off personally. Prime, me, and another news actually were talking about this. Like, I don't know if I really want that. I don't want more. Do you need more?
Right.
Like, by the time it comes around to the end, depending on where you take the scene you're talking about, like, you know, no, you don't need more.
And I think it's going to be, you know, especially now if they're talking about expanding more on the Joker, like after this stuff, that's fine, that's cool. But you know, in terms of introducing Batman to it, that's a tough position for Warner Brothers, because obviously we know that there's another Batman movie series, a whole new, probably going to be a trilogy or a series of movies with Robert Pattinson as Batman. And I just don't see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker fitting into that universe. You know, I mean, they could. I don't think that's what he wants to do with that.
Right.
This is. I think this is just this is a character study. This isn't something that's supposed to be shoehorned into a big budget Batman movie. And if he's not a part of that universe, if that's not a part of the discussion, I can't see Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, look, we got 2 Batman movies coming out now. We got this series with Robert Pattinson, and now we've got this smaller, grittier version with Joaquin Phoenix."
It's already
Joker.
Convoluted enough as it is, and DC just can't seem to get their shit straight. So yeah, no, leave this a one-off. Let this be what it is. I mean, because again, it is kind of an origin story. It's definitely a dark tale of an origin story, but you know, it's kind of like how I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of like, it can be really obscure. Just try to follow me on this. Like 8 Mile, when 8 Mile came out, Robert Ebert said he didn't like it. He said it was basically, you went from rags to slightly better rags. And to me, and you know, we're not going to get the discussion about critics, but you know, that's kind of the way I look at this. Like, you can't just take, you know, can't look at it for like that kind of face value. Like, when you watch something like 8 Mile, it's about the characters, about the POV. It's about, like, yeah, okay, it's the streets of Detroit, but it's more than that. Like, somebody like Ebert's not going to understand that. He's not going to get that. Where it's kind of the same with Joaquin in this and Joker. Like, you're not going to understand because it is a POV. Like, you know, he's awkward, weird. He's got a lot on his plate. He's, you know, sick mentally or something like that. He's, you know, he doesn't really have a lot of people to lean on to, like a lot of positive things. And those small ones that he does either break apart or completely walk away. Right. And, you know, and it's not a fairy tale, and it's not meant to be. And I think that's part of what makes it so great, is because we're finally back after a decade of pulling the punches on R-rated movies, and things like Deadpool makes it so we can do this again, and Logan's and stuff like this. And yes, they are comic book movies, but now we're starting to get these different types of masterpieces, different level of rated R.
Right.
So.
No, yeah, and that's cool. If my understanding is that this movie launched under a new DC label. The name of the label escapes me, but this is going to usher in other movies of this ilk. There's going to be other movies under the DC properties that are going to fall in line with what we saw with Joker. They're not going to be big budget stuff. I mean, dude, this movie made a shit ton of money this weekend on like a $55 million budget. This is a $55
million.
It made over 100. It almost hit like 191 million worldwide or something.
Was that what
like
it was?
It was something
worldwide.
something
domestic,
absurd.
I thought it was like 95.
Oh yeah, I mean it doubled its cost. So I mean this has shown that there is a space for this. There is an interest in these types of movies, but I mean they're gonna have to. I mean this is gonna be a hard one to follow up. This is gonna be a tough act to follow. But it does. When you watch a movie like this and you see, man, you can make a movie like this out of a DC property, and this is under this new label. Now you start thinking about what other DC characters, whether they're villains or maybe more obscure characters.
I think the obscure sometimes is more fun to work with.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you don't know any. I think a little level of freedom. I mean, obviously, Warner Brothers and DC Comics gave Todd Phillips a lot of flexibility. They said, "Hey, look, man, make your movie, make the movie you want to make," and there are multiple things about this movie where you can see he kind of takes liberties with that property. There's certain characters, for example, Thomas Wayne, not quite the guy that we have come to know from all the other Batman movies. So it's cool how Todd Phillips was able to kind of like just tweak little things, and it changes everything, dude. It changes everything, and it really is.
It's so much about that perspective.
I think the thing that you and I agree on is that this is obviously an incredible performance by Juaquin Phoenix. It's directed with masterclass ability by Todd Phillips, which is something again you just don't expect to see from Todd Phillips in this type of movie. It's the soundtrack is incredible too. The music is really just somber and
that actually is what really drives it. We haven't talked about that at all, but that is what drives it. That's going to drive it. They use it as an emotion. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And this isn't going to spoil anything, but I mean, it's been in all the trailers and everyone, and I think they've shown it on every talk show that Joaquin Phoenix has been on. But it's the scene that I love the most in the movie. It's the bathroom scene where the Joker's there and you see him dancing. The way that whole scene is shot is just incredible, and that's where you first are just like, okay, this is the Joker, and it's an incredibly well done scene. The soundtrack carries that scene to the next level. It's great. So, but the other thing is, we talked about it. If you go into this movie, keep an open mind. Don't treat it as a straightforward comic book movie. No matter how dark it is or how good Joaquin Phoenix is, pay attention to everything going on around Joaquin Phoenix. It was just tough because the guy chews up every scene that he's in. But look at everything and really try to interpret what's going on. You're gonna have a lot more questions and some really good discussions. If you've seen the movie, go on YouTube, just type in Joker, the meaning of Joker, and there's a lot of wild theories out there, and it'll blow your mind. It's how wide open this movie is in terms of interpretation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really, really good stuff. So really enjoyed Joker. We got to move on to the next topic. This is something you were really, really excited about.
Yeah.
This is because I mean, like, look, it's been a long time since I've been like really into wrestling.
Right.
I mean, the last time I was really into it, the Bushwhackers were a thing. Ultimate Warrior was the man. That was my guy. But the Bushwhackers, I used to they walk around, they lick each other's heads. Those guys were fucking hilarious.
They were awesome.
It's been a long time since I've been fully vested in wrestling.
Right.
But I've been following you guys, and I'm following, all sorts of stuff. But there was something that went on this past weekend, man, that you got to talk about because it sounds like this is big.
So there was a lot really going on even before what happened coming up into this weekend. With last week, like, to kind of pull it back a little bit, things like Impact is getting different TV deals, which is real big. And then you get into AEW, the new Fed that's got everybody excited. They started their first show last week. And now you're into WWE and big stuff happening Friday. They got people upset by squashing their champion because Brock Lesnar. Then, after all that shit, all that, you get into Sunday for their latest pay-per-view, which is a big one, Hell in a Cell. I don't know if it's considered one of their big ones. Hell in a Cell. And there was a night in this match here, the actual Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And people were pretty pissed.
Really?
Very pissed. There were chants of other federations going on. There was a lot of cussing. There was a lot
So
of
at this match, there's other people chanting other federations.
yeah. So
Ooh.
like much like back in the old days, especially during the Monday Night Wars, like you'd find sometimes WWF time would get WCW chants or vice versa, things like that. Even ECW would get into that too. So this night, of course, because AEW is really hot on everybody's heels, everybody's excited about it because it's a fed going on. It's something, a lot of younger talent, more wrestling and things like that, and how it kind of became about is also, really exciting for people, or it gets people excited. This call that happened in this match, goes Hell in a Cell, which is, classic things have happened, like Undertaker nearly killing kind, tossing off, things like this. Like it's not typically a match where you would say, hey, it's a disqualification, because the whole point of the match is trying to kill somebody basically. And they called no DQ, or a DQ, excuse me, on Rollins here.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, and people lost their shit because you got a guy here who, in my opinion, Bray Wyatt, like when he started his thing years ago as the whole Sister Abigail thing and the cult, it was like you hadn't seen anything like that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who's smart mark to a degree, try to still, I enjoy still kayfabe. I want to encompass everything. You kind of see things, you kind of know stuff. You've been around long enough. You're an adult. There's certain expectations you sometimes do or don't have, and that's the problem with everything is your expectations, right? Well, they kind of made him almost like anticlimactic. Like you create this big scary guy, he's spooky. You're thinking, is this the new kind of like new age Undertaker's back in the day? Undertaker freaked you out, he's the dead man. He's got doing coffin matches. He carries an urn, things like that.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff to get you excited about. And Bray Wyatt comes out doing something completely new, something you hadn't seen in a while, something kind of dark and mysterious, and they just kind of shit the bed on it. It's like they're in an era where, because they're publicly traded, they changed everything from like to PG basically,
right?
PG-13, whatever it is, and they pull the punches and stuff like that, and that's not exciting. Like sometimes you need to see the arc of like, there's the classic story tale of where the bad guy kind of gets one over on the good guy, and the good guy's got to come back through, and at the end, slay the bad guy kind of thing.
Right.
And they've done that terribly with Bray Wyatt, who they've given a little more creative control with this Fiend thing. And if you get a chance sometime, check out some of the YouTube videos and some of the little shows that he does leading up to it. It's very, 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 very cool. It's very unique, nothing you've seen in a while. And they did this to him, and it's like, man, like you want to create somebody that people want to chase. I mean, this ruins Seth Rollins too at this call, because it's a shit call. It makes both of them look bad.
Right.
And here you've got this potential bad guy that could really F up the entire federation, and they just shit the bed with it because they're more concerned. Well, because Vince McMahon is involved, and I will argue that with everybody all day, as he's part of the problem, because he's at the end of the day the guy that's marking off the creative control. Now what are you gonna do with them? You ruined everything for both of these guys. You ruined potentially a great guy to have carry these awesome Seth Rollins or whoever you think, anybody, Cena's, any face over, and now you can't because you just shit the bed. People were pissed. It was people canceling cancel WWE Network. Same thing that happened with Daniel Bryan years ago. It's when I stopped watching WWE. Was the hashtag cancel network. I did that years ago. I refused to watch any of their product until either Vince dies or leaves the company. And I've stuck to that the entire time since. I don't watch any. They won't get any of my money. Nothing. And that's why it's exciting to have things like Impact all of a sudden getting better TV stuff, because we get more Rohit Raju, right?
Yeah,
the mocha skinned manimal, right? And AEW, an entirely new federation who is just wanting to kick down doors.
Yeah, no, it's gonna give them an opportunity to say, hey, look, we can do it better than this.
Yes,
we can do it better than the big boys. And when especially a guy like Rajit Raju, I mean, now you had a story about something that he did recently, correct?
So this man, known for a long time, and matter of fact, I've got proof on it. One of my texts. Somebody asked me yesterday, well, who's your favorite wrestler? And the first thing I said, well, clearly Hakeem Zayn, Rohit Raju, right? Like, duh. Like, but yeah, he's been working on some of the indie stuff as always. Like, when you're wrestling Impact or wherever you are, some places allow you to go and do other stuff and things like that. And he's always just trying to wrestle. That's his passion. He's incredibly good at it.
Yes,
he's incredibly talented, and I goddamn guarantee anybody go against him on a mic, or just generally the amount of heart that he puts into it,
Mm-hmm.
there's not very many people that can even come close to what he does.
No.
Now we also have a friend, Jake something,
Oh,
Jake,
man.
yeah, Jake Dean or cousin Jake, also very talented, also very good. Like, not to undersell him as well too, but man, what Hakeem has been doing with AAW is he was sending these promos into with a mask, voice changer, and did this like 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
And the promos are so good because he's so good at cutting promos. Everybody was saying, "Oh, it's probably this indie wrestler, or it's this guy."
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to speculate who this was doing these promos and cutting these crazy, awesome promos, right? Like promos you don't normally see these days. But he's again, very talented. Everybody out there, make sure he gets the mic. So he gets to AEW this last week, and out of nowhere, he comes from the back. He just starts kicking the shit out of everybody in the ring.
Yeah.
Beats up like a couple refs. It looks like a security guy. Him and his buddy are in there. And all of a sudden, he pulls out of the bag the mask that he used for the promo, and the whole entire place just like freaks out one way or another, starts booing, like crazy shit going on. Like they were expecting other people that they had thought was going to be this mystery character cutting promos on their entire federation, and man, oh man, and he's been getting like,
Rave
I mean,
reviews.
oh man, you got to see the people on Twitter are freaking out over it. It's pretty fucking nuts, and it all comes full circle because he cut a fucking promo on Saginaw back in like June or July.
Yes. Yep. That thing was sweet. I wasn't there. I was actually supposed to go to that.
Yes,
I saw the video, and
Yes.
that thing, he was incredible.
He cut this promo, and we're all like Twitter, you got to show everybody this, and people, and so apparently they saw this and were like, hey, let's let you do something kind of thing or whatever. He could probably give better details, but that's pretty much the baseline of it. Like now, because of that promo that he cut on Saginaw, which was fucking awesome.
Yep.
And you want to talk to somebody who got some heat real fast. That was a good spot to do it. And they were like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And here we are. And finally, he's got a mic in his hand. And finally, let's hope people listen, pay attention, and give him a mic more often because the man is fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, he really is. He's
very exciting.
He's extremely talented. And
Yes.
the thing is, you really appreciate the effort that they put into their work, into their promos, into their performances on the stage when they are these people, because we actually get to hang out with them once in a while when we go watch a movie, and we get to see their who they are, and it's so cool. It's so cool because you just know how talented they are,
right?
And they're both just
masters at their craft.
Yeah, they're incredible at what they do.
Yeah,
they're incredible at what they do, and it's really cool to be able to say, yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah,
he's awesome, and like you said, the promo he cut, that one, I was so pissed. I was supposed to go to that match. I was supposed to go. I had a ticket, and then I came downstairs. My basement was flooded, and then I remember you sent me that clip, and I was just like, "Are you serious, dude?"
Yeah,
because he just trashed everybody there, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So no, kudos to him, and that's really awesome. But man, that's crazy with the HIAC, man. That's how do you recover from that? Like, what do you think their next move is? Like, how do you recover from that?
I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, they will. There's plenty. 13
obviously.
But like for people who are on the fence, like I'll put it to you like this: I haven't heard anybody talk about wrestling so much like I have in the last 2 weeks, and people who either do or don't or barely watch wrestling. It's everybody is talking about what happened Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane. Like I had people even texting me or Facebooking me say, look what I did. I canceled WWE Network because I've been very boisterous about I won't watch this product, and I haven't since they fucked over Daniel Bryan years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, and it's coming full circle again because Vince McMahon is still making choices.
Mm-hmm.
You
gotta love Vince McMahon, dude. Love Vince.
No.
He's awesome, man. He's got some great memes and gifts. So I mean,
he was awesome in the '90s as he came out to the fucking. I can't remember. I can visualize how he walks out, but the boss and all the Stone Cold stuff. But yeah, no, I'm good on any of his product.
No, Josh in the chat asked. He goes, "How can I see that Saginaw clip you're talking about?" Now, Prime mentioned something about YouTube, but do we actually? Can we put that in our Discord?
I could probably find the link for the Saginaw one from one of probably from Rohit's Twitter back in.
Okay, yeah.
Or even my probably easy to go through his. I'm usually trashing mine real fast with bullshit that nobody cares about. But you can find it on if you just follow look for @Rohit Raju /Hakeem Zayn Twitter.
Prime, can you throw that the link to his Twitter in the chat just so people can check him out?
Oh, he's probably fucking tugging.
No, he's
tugging
still
his
going.
balls. He's awake.
He's awake.
He's awake.
I guarantee he's doing lines right
yeah,
now.
where he lines of pixie sticks. yeah. I can't see the chat because apparently our chat stopped on the big one, but we got.
The chat crashed, so we're gonna have to figure out what's going on. But we got it on our phone, so we're keeping track of what you're saying. I know Clad Crow's in the other chat. I can only have one chat up at a time, but Clad Crow's over there.
Love Clad Crow.
Clad Crow is another awesome tater tot boy. Make sure you check him out as well as Prime Gaming. Dual Wielder was in here tonight. March was in here tonight.
Check out all the tater tot boys.
So make sure you check out the tater tot boys. That's who we roll with. That's who we stream with.
You.
So I mean, another thing I really want to talk about, dude, a little bit is and Presto asked me in the chat, if I played Shadowkeep.
Yeah. Let's come full circle. What are you playing right now?
I am playing Destiny 2 Shadowkeep and a whole lot of it. There was a lot of expectations from this. There's a lot going on. Just this past week,
you're a huge fan.
I mean, a little bit, just a little bit, a little bit. There's the Twitter handle. Thanks, Prime. Appreciate that. Twitter.com/Hakeem Zane.
Is it Hakeem Zane? Okay.
Hakeem Zane. Make sure you check him out. He is awesome.
Check around June, I believe it was.
I think it was June. Yep, it was around June.
It was June.
Yep. Check him out. He's an incredible performer. He's really, really good. But yeah, I've been playing Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Playing it a lot. I'm playing it on PS4. I'm playing it on PC. I played some on Xbox. I'm just going wherever people are playing on my friends list. Whoever's available, that's who I'm playing with. And shout out to my boy Piccolo 930. That's the guy I've been playing Destiny with since the alpha.
I won't watch your streams left Piccolo's involved.
I know. As soon Fanboytone will show up, like, hey man, where's Piccolo? I'm like, well, he's not here yet. He's gone. I can't even finish my explanation. Yeah. He's gone. But no, it's so far I'm really impressed with what I played of Shadowkeep. They've obviously Armor 2.0. That's the big thing. That's like the first big step towards an RPG, more of an MMO,
which
RPG,
they're finally acknowledging, right?
Which they are finally. This is a first MMO. They used to try to sidestep MMO. They tried to shy away from it. Now they're embracing it. Like, look, this is the reason they're embracing it is for like the last 6 years. That's what people have been saying. Just make it an MMO. Throw a lot of the stuff in from MMOs that people like, and you're gonna have a hit. Because look, I'm not gonna debate anybody. Bungie is masterclass when it comes to shooting mechanics. They know how to make a solid first-person shooter. They make a great shooter, whether it's at 30 frames on a console. Look, when I play a shooter, normally I like to play 60 frames. You want that reaction time. You want that smoothness when you play a shooter. Destiny 2 is a prime example. Even though I played it on PC, and I've seen it look really good on PC. Okay, Destiny 2 looks really good on PC. It doesn't affect my enjoyment with it at 30 frames on PS4 or Xbox One. It's just a great game. It feels good to play. It feels good to shoot. I absolutely love Destiny no matter what platform I'm on. But yeah, the introduction of the armor system has you in those menus.
Yeah.
Much like how you like being in menus when you're looking at armor
Witchers
sets.
And stuff like that. Yeah, I love menus.
They've got mods that are only working on certain pieces of equipment that are, that work towards like, an elemental type. And you're just constantly grinding, trying to find that one weapon mod that'll actually work in this one armor piece that I really like. So, I mean, the cheese at the end of the stick is fresh. You're constantly got something to chase after now. The nightmare hunts, I like those what I played so far, which are basically like almost like shorter strikes. They're just, you go through a quick dungeon, and I wouldn't say it's a dungeon. You go through a couple of waves of enemies, then you fight a big boss, and then you move on. But they're going to start adding difficulty levels, so they're going to introduce different enemies in there, and you're going to get better rewards. So, I mean, every week it's going to introduce a different tier of difficulty for the nightmare hunts. The raid dropped this week. From my understanding, the raid is actually pretty sweet. We've got the artifact, which is something that you can unlock different perks that you can because like the way the armor system work is, for example, if you want to add something that gives you better aim for a certain kind of weapons, like one is like for auto rifles, hand cannons, and fusion rifles, and all is all bunched into one. And you have a point system for your armor piece. You can only have, I think you have to unlock up to 10 points. And each mod has a different weight to it. So one mod might be worth 5 points. That means you have 5 points left once you unlock the armor piece. So you can add stuff to it. But then has certain perks to it, certain mods that you can unlock that are only tied to one specific weapon type, auto rifle. So say if I want an auto rifle, I have an auto rifle where I want it to have enhanced reload. Okay. The base perk that's available is worth 5 points and covers multiple stuff, but that reduces the amount of mods I can put on that armor piece. Whereas if I unlock the enhanced auto rifle on the artifact, it's only worth 1 point. So now I can start sliding in more mods into my armor pieces.
Shit.
So you're ranking up your artifact. There's so much to do.
That's pretty smart.
There's a lot of great stuff, in terms of like the armor. So I'm in my menus a lot more, looking at armor pieces, looking at mods.
The RPG feel.
Yes, and then I showed you the finisher moves, which are fucking awesome.
Those are really cool.
I mean, there's just a lot of freshness right now, and there's a lot of debate out there. Bungie reusing the moon as a destination. Obviously, the moon was an integral part of Destiny 1. It was a big part where you spent a lot of your time on the moon, especially in the Dark Below when that expansion dropped. Now the moon's back. It's been completely redone. There's a lot of different changes to it, a lot of big time changes to it. And so, there's an argument that like, oh, Bungie just reskin things.
I have seen that.
I can understand that, but man, once you go there, there is so much to do there. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of hidden secrets going on. There's a lot of cool stuff to explore. But the one thing that I love about what they're saying, that Bungie has been saying, like, look, this is going to become a game now where it's not going to be like they're not going to release stuff like they have prior to. This is going to be a game where you're going to want to make sure you're playing so you can say, I was there when this happened.
Right.
The story is going to evolve more as you move through the expansions and whatnot. I'm really excited to see where they're going with this. They've been hyping up every season going forward. They're like, man, season 9 is going to set this up. Season 10 is going to do this, and then season 11, you're going to want to be there because this is where everything is coming to a head. I mean, there's just so many cool things going on with Destiny 2 right now. I'm excited for them. It's fun to play. There's a lot to do, and like I said, we've got the raid out now. We've got a dungeon coming at the end of the month that looks pretty wild. I mean, the trailer, it's just, there's a whole lot to do. Presto asks, how do you feel about the Battle Pass? I love it. I like the Battle Pass. Yep. I have no issues with the Battle Pass. There's a lot of valuable stuff on the Battle Pass. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be useful for me going forward in terms of like when I rank up my armor. If I want to get that 10th spot, I'm going to need certain items that are going to be rewarded on there. There's going to be some cool finisher moves that are on there. There's a lot of good stuff on the Battle Pass. I mean, there's already enough to do in the game. The Battle Pass, I feel, complements that. With everything that you're doing, you're going to be earning enough XP to unlock stuff at a reasonable rate on the Battle Pass.
Is it now? How is it to understand the amount of content? Like that's what I've heard. Like some of it's a la carte now, right? Like so, how hard is that to navigate if you want to jump in at any time?
My understanding, well, obviously Destiny 2 New Light is out now, so I mean that's the free to play one that everyone can just jump in and play.
Okay.
And then as you progress through that, you'll have the option, down the road to buy whichever season you want to buy, whatever expansion you want to buy. Like, okay, I want to buy this one. I'm not really interested in that one. I can buy this one, but you can still keep playing the base game and get what you want out of it. But I mean, if you want to get the full Battle Pass experience, you're going to want to continue to get, the expansions. Capitation asks, how many times is Bungie going to fix Destiny before moving on to something else? I wouldn't say they're fixing it. I would say they're improving it. They're adding to it. But no, I mean, I think they actually had an interview with Bungie. Bungie as a developer, because obviously they're independent now. It's Bungie producers,
which is something. Yeah, I was hoping you're going to bring that up because like that's a big deal. Part of what we're seeing now, and why are things like it's probably a step-by-step process. You're away from Activision and their EA style publisher bullshit. Now they can like spread their wings.
Yeah, and what they mentioned recently is they want to have multiple entertainment products out there. I think it was 2025. They hope to have more than just one IP out there. So
more than this,
Destiny 2 is the focus right now. I'm sure Destiny 3 at some point will be on the radar. But then after that, Bungie does plan to expand and make other IPs. They said by 2025 there will be something else under the Bungie umbrella that won't be Destiny related.
So what was his question again? It was about fixing.
He said, how many times is Bungie going to fix Destiny before moving on to something else?
So probably Destiny 3, because my guess is part of the reason why Destiny 2, in my opinion, is somebody who dabbled, right, did feel different than Destiny 1, but there was a lot of things that I was critical about, like you go into, like I always feel like they would be so much better if they did more instances for everything instead of like some of those, you do some of those boss
strike missions or
like like instance like that way you zap into something and like everything can look different, whereas I feel like some of the stuff that you grab like normally you go down the same rust hole times, it's just a different boss, like the scenery's the same. But my guess is as part of that is time constraints. Now if they can hopefully publish themselves, then they don't have to worry about that, maybe part of the reason why they do get the reskins is because of them being published by Activision.
Mhm,
And, who knows, right? So I would guess from my standpoint, maybe Destiny 3 to kind of coincide with what he was asking about.
mhm. No, I mean, yeah, Destiny 3 is definitely going to be something. I'm trying to see what else he's asking here. But yeah, it feels like Destiny 2 message was fixing Destiny 1. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, when Bungie, again, you got to think, Bungie was under Activision, and Activision wants the game to be in as many hands as possible. So if that means catering to the casuals and making it an accessible game, Activision had the final say on that. They're going to tell Bungie, look, we want this game to be played by a lot of people, so you're going to make this game accessible. And that's, everyone got pissed about it. I mean, everyone said, hey, look, Destiny 2 is built for the casuals. It is not, they're not thinking about the hardcore players. And Bungie understood that. And then as soon as that separation happened, Bungie has acknowledged it multiple times in the Vidocs. Now that we're doing our own thing, we can make the game. I mean, they won't say, Activision held us down. They won't say it, but they're hinting at it.
They definitely hint at it.
Yeah, they have the freedom to do what they want now. And so, I mean, they're going to come. This game is never going to be the same game 3 months later. It's always going to change. I mean, you can say if you want to say it's fixing it, every game's going to get fixed, especially when it's a live game. Okay, there's always going to be tweaks going to be made. I would rather them be tweaking stuff and fixing stuff than be like, fuck you guys, we're not changing anything.
And having Defiance. And then
yeah, you got to listen to the
HD
community.
Defiance.
You got to listen to the community, and they're going to make changes. If you want to call it fixing it, cool, they're fixing it. They're making it better. They're making it something so the community is happy with what it is, because they understand the community is what keeps Destiny relevant.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Like, to some of that, for the most part, clearly you're very passionate about it because it's always been your thing. There are people out there who just started playing Destiny 2 last week as more of a casual, or think they know about Destiny 2. That's fine and cool and dandy, but like, you got people like yourself who is actually a hardcore, who digs deep, learns the Vidocs, all this stuff. Like, that's exactly where they should be focusing. It should be focused and more tailored to you guys that didn't stop playing from D1 and put X amount of hours D1, didn't stop getting to Destiny 2 and keep going and haven't stopped.
Yeah, and like, I mean, yeah, I might defend Destiny at times, but I'm not opposed to criticizing what Bungie does either. I'll be the first one to say, man, this thing sucks. I don't like what they did here, and I'll voice my opinion and what changes are made. And sometimes there's changes made that I dig, and sometimes there's changes they make that the community wants. I'm just like, no, I don't think we needed that. And it's all subjective, and everyone's going to be different about it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not going to sit there and blindly say, yeah, it's the best game ever. A lot of time in it.
You've definitely spent a lot of time
because I love playing it. I think it plays good,
Right.
and so it's really well done in that regard. But yeah, the game is going to continue to be iterated upon for years. It's going to change all the time. They're going to find issues that need to be addressed. They're going to find balancing issues that need to get tweaked. So there's the meta is constantly changing. I feel like Destiny 2 is a great game because of the fact they change so much and try new things. I agree with Magus on that 100%. They are always changing stuff. They're always listening to the community.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but leading up to the launch of Shadowkeep, Luke Smith, the game's director, sent out a bunch of posts every day that explained that not only did he acknowledge, look, we fucked up in the past. For him to go out there and put the stuff down and not only acknowledge that they screwed up, but list examples of where they went wrong.
That's a big deal, too.
I mean, that's not easy for them to do. And they can do that now. They can go out there and say, hey, look, yeah, we screwed this up. And when you read these articles, when you take the time to read these posts, you can understand the passion that Bungie has for this. And this is their baby. They wouldn't go to Activision and say, we want this shit back. We want this thing back. They want the IP because they care about it.
Right.
And so I dig that. I appreciate that. And yeah, the game is always going to have its issues, especially when they release new expansions or they release new guns. They're going to find issues and they're going to address it. Is the game going to be perfect every time something new comes out? Absolutely not. I'm okay with that because no game is absolutely perfect when it comes out.
Not those live games. They never are.
So, Presto says, how do you feel about them bringing back weapons for D1? I don't care. They got new ones in there and they got old ones in there. There's some oldies that I love.
Yeah.
There's some guns that they bring those back. Cool. There's some memorable guns, dude, that from Destiny 1 that I don't mind they bring back. As long as there's new ones mixed in as well, I'm cool with that.
Ever right.
I'm cool with that. So I have no issues with that either. But I would love to I'd love to get you into Destiny 2 at some point.
I did tell you at one point this last couple months that I had really debated it because I think it would be fun to play with you guys. But the bottom line is, for me,
when can you play the damn thing?
When will I be able to play it?
Right.
I don't. I just don't have the amount, sometimes even the amount of time to stream that I want or to game. To get into something like Destiny, you have to really devote that time. The Cappadocian.
He says he'll play that as soon as Fanboytone finishes Borderlands.
That's a nope.
That's a big nope.
Big nope.
We could get
for
into
sure.
that discussion, but that'd probably take another hour or so.
I don't want to do that. Plead the fifth.
So yeah, I've been playing a ton of Shadowkeep. I've really liked what I played. Obviously,
That's what you're
I
playing.
can't draw a final judgment on Shadowkeep until a month from now when I've experienced all the content, the dungeon, the difficulty levels on the Vex invasions that are going on, the nightmare hunts. There's so much stuff that I had to really dig into to really know if I appreciate everything that's been included in this one. But from what I played so far, it's more of the same, and that's what I want from Destiny 2. I want more of the same, and they're adding and improving things. So awesome. I dig it. What have you been playing?
Well, clearly Breakpoint. Gone through that. I love Breakpoint. Breakpoint's awesome. Yet there's a lot of problems with it, but it is in my wheelhouse. Feels more like Metal Gear. I like the stealth stuff. I want the tactical shooting. It's everything that I like about a game with extra RPG elements taken from Division. So I'm definitely way into that. Me, I'm always bouncing around games. So recently, very recently, within the last week, so I'm always kind of dabbling in Path of Exile. I love Path of Exile. I fire that up for an hour or two here or there, maybe, or Kings of Amular, or Halo when we can play some Halo with everybody. But my buddy Noel recently, in the last couple months, got a fighting stick. Anybody that knows me from the old days or now knows I enjoy fighting games. Now, I'm not saying I'm great at them. I'm not saying I'm even good at them sometimes. Sometimes I'm better than mediocre. Sometimes I'm better than your cousin twice removed sitting on the couch playing co-op. Maybe. But of all of them, Mortal Kombat seems to typically, up till 11, was one that I was pretty all right with. I've bought in every single one since after the 64. 11 comes out. I'm terrible at it. Very frustrated about that, but I just can't get the pace. The patch is coming soon. Hopefully it's going to change the pace of that. Terminator is the next character coming out. That was really exciting. That trailer was very actually exciting. Might be out today.
The Terminator game?
Terminator.
I thought that was December.
The Terminator update, no, is October.
Oh, you mean for Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat, yes. So
I want to ask you one thing about that, because you showed me the trailer, and I want to get your thought on that, because you have the likeness.
How in the
Arnold
fuck
Schwarzenegger.
do you not? What is Arnie doing that he can't give his voice for a few lines?
I don't get that.
That don't make any sense.
This isn't like a likeness of the Terminator.
This is fucking
this is
Arnie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then they get this weak ass voiceover guy going, it doesn't sound a thing like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It sounds like a guy. It sounds like a comedic take Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It could be worse.
It could be,
but it's not great.
Right.
But everything that he does in it, like somebody was joking, it's basically Jason reskinned. People love being polarizing. I swear, they just want everybody loves to minimalize everything because it's edgy, right? But I definitely see that thought process. But they got a big update. They just announced in the last week or two. They're adding a third moveset for all characters. Terminator is going to be involved in that, and they're retooling some of the pace of the game. One of my main characters, Katana, is finally hopefully going to play a little bit more faster, like XL and 9. They said to play more like 9, which in 9 and XL, I can't play her much better. But that said, so Mortal Kombat very shortly, a little bit dabbling back into. I'm always juggling like 6 games, but Astral Chain right now on the Switch. I play that on my downtime when the wife wants to watch something stupid on TV. I undock it and I play that, which sucks like that. But then when she goes to bed, I'll put it in the Pro Controller. Astral Chain by Platinum Games. That is a hidden gem right now on the Switch. If you haven't touched it, I definitely highly advise it. It's very unique, very heavy anime. My only complaint about it, and it doesn't play like Devil May Cry, it's just Platinum Games, okay? Just want to say that. My only complaint is that the voice languages is only in English, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
I watch all my animes in subbed because I can't deal with the disconnect of emotion. Sometimes you get with the dubbed. So I don't have an option for that because I would read it all if I at least had Japanese voice, but I can't. So that drives me nuts because it really can't be. That said, it's very fun. It's very anime, over the top. Like it's a good time. Definitely check out Astral Chain. Now, I'm full circle. Noel getting the stick. I have been playing Ultra Street Fighter 4, not Street Fighter 5, for the last week and a half.
Whoa, that's a lot. Really?
Holy shit! let's talk about being indestructible. Which is the intro song to Street Fighter Vanilla 4, and they don't have an Ultra 4, which is stupid, and it makes me mad. So here's a guy. Me and him play a lot of fighting games. We back and forth. Hey, what up, cuz? We will play these Mortal Kombats. We play these fighting games, and this motherfucker, Noel, mostly plays fighting games. Noel mostly beats my ass. Now, Mortal Kombat 10 and 10 XL, or whatever you want to say, it's pretty even a lot of times. I beat him a little bit more, and then we get to 11, he whoops on me. 11's a little bit slower,
right?
And it feeds into his DOA because he's a Dead or Alive guy, and who says that, right? Nobody talks about it. But like hardcore players, like, because Dead or Alive, to me, I equate that to being like the adult version of Tekken, you know, kind of like how Siege is the adult version of tactical shooting, you know. So he'll come in these with this mindset, and I'm like, I can't fucking touch him. He's doing shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Were you even thinking of this? Of course, he also plays a cheap character called Scorpion, so fuck that meta character. And Ed Boon, I love you to death.
Boy, man.
Stop.
I'm Scorpion all the way.
Yeah, you would. So you cheap playing motherfucker. But so we play Street Fighter in certain arcades, and of course, since I'm a Ryu player, of course, Noel, like everybody else except for Prime Laming, Noel plays Ken Masters. The American Shoto. Fuck Ken, first of all. Fuck that character.
Jeez.
It's just because poster boy.
I guess.
That's my guy. So we play Ultra Street Fighter 4 last week. I'm gonna burn you right here live, by the way, Noel. You've kicked my ass so much, but last Thursday we got together, had lunch, he brought a stick over and played. I whooped his ass.
What was the record again?
22-1. And not only, so he won one game, and towards the end was getting a few more matches. We do like the best 3 of 5, so we play like Japanese style or whatever they call it. So you get the extra round or two. I whooped his ass, and the first time, like the first exact match that we played, I sweeped him all 3 rounds, and I was like, well, maybe he's got to warm up. He just had lunch. Maybe he's got a little food in his belly, right? He got to warm up, right? The second time I did it again, I'm like, and he's visibly like, what the fuck kind of thing. Like, he was quiet for a second. I'm just chilling, like, which was pissing him off because he'd be like saying stuff to me, and I'm just chilling, man. He's like, you motherfucker, you know, because I was kind of trolling about it, you know, because I wasn't like overly going, whoa, holy shit, I'm whipping your ass. It just felt like retribution, like I was being redeemed, right? And we played for about an hour and a half, and it ended up being 22-1. I whooped his ass, and we played the other night live on stream Monday night. I was gonna play Recon, and then I said, hey, what are you doing? Let's play. And it was about 2-1. I think we probably played, I'd say, fairly. I went on a 9-winning streak on. He won he won the last 2 we played. But I already had gone on a 9-winning streak on him. He'd won like maybe.
There was literally
1 or 2
nothing he could do to redeem.
He went.
His
It was if we might. He went like I went like 9-4, I think, on him. Cool. So it's all no. Hopefully he's gonna be getting much better. Hey, thanks for all the sparks, other guys. So there we are. You know, I'm playing Ultra Street Fighter 4, and I'll tell you what. Just like when Vanilla Street Fighter 4 came out in like 2008, 2009, I have the hook. And people are saying, why ain't you playing Street Fighter 5? Well, that's simple. It's not as good as 4.
Really?
Ryu isn't even as good as Ryu's not as good in 5 as he was in 4.
Sucks.
Yes. Shut up. But yeah, I'm hooked on that. Prime's probably talking some mad shit in there because he plays Turtle Grandpa like I do, and that's why Noel's getting pissed, is because I play Turtle like old man Turtle Prime there. Because when me and Prime play Street Fighter, it's fucking boring. We're doing bullshit. We're doing like jab sweeps, slow ass bullshit. Yeah, exactly. and he plays Ryu too, so when we play it, it's like full non-fun bullshit to watch because we'll throw maybe and like we'll get in Hadoken fights, and that was pissing Noah off too because there's 3 different speeds of him, so I'm like he'll jump into him or something, or he'll be like trying to wake up from him and he's eating a fireball already at the block, and because of the chip damage, I kill him like that too. And there's a couple moves that I got on him that he just can't get past, and it was pissing him off, and he found some ways to break through it, but overall, if he beat me a round or 2, there was many matches that happened that day that I'd be 2-0, and I would come back and sweep him back 3 against his 2 and win. And he was visibly not impressed. And it's fucking great.
It's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling.
It's a good feeling when you just wax the floor with somebody. It's awesome.
Yes. Final answer. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Still the king. Love it.
That's the best one.
I'm back. I'm back, baby. Let's play this.
Awesome.
Let's
Yeah,
play.
I'm not gonna lie. I got a text like immediately after he'd went on that 22-1 record. I got a text immediately, but he's like, "Here, look at this." I was like, "That's impressive."
Yeah, well, you trolled me about Mortal Kombat Live, so I had to at least show you that
Well,
I got something somewhere.
when I go 22-1 against you in Mortal Kombat, it's easy for me to talk shit
for
about.
fuck's sake.
But
Like 64 combat.
So now before we part, we know we got obviously we're in the middle of the fall rush.
Yes.
We know there's a couple more games coming out before our next show, which will be October 23rd. I believe that is a Wednesday.
Yes,
so.
probably.
Yeah.
I'll double check my schedule, but I should be good.
Yeah. We should be good for October 23rd. Yes. Now, unfortunately, that's going to be 2 days before Modern Warfare drops. So we're
one day, depending on where you get it at your retailer.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Well then. But obviously, is there anything else coming out between now and then that you're going to be looking into?
That Mortal Kombat update, Street Fighter 4 beating old ass. That's about it right now on my docket.
That's it, huh? There are two games out right now that I'm very intrigued in. One of them I'm really hyped about, and that's John Wick Hex.
Oh shit, that's that tactical.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
That actually came out. I think yesterday or today.
Really,
it's out now. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna grab that, and I'm probably gonna stream that this weekend. I'm gonna try to find some time and stream that because that game looks great. I don't know. It's made by Mike Bithell, and I don't know if you guys have seen the game Volume. He made this game. It was on consoles. It was even on V. And Volume was it almost plays a little bit like Volume. It's a tactical like a XCOM, so to speak. Like you're planning out the moves for John Wick, and the art style is beautiful. It's a rad looking game. Currently it's only on PC. It's an Epic Games Store exclusive. But if you guys get a chance, check out John Wick Hex. This game looks fucking awesome. I'm definitely gonna check it out. It looks really, really good.
Into it. And
then the other game that the reviews just started dropping yesterday, very well received, is this Indivisible.
Yes, I was actually going to ask you about that earlier. I'm glad you bring that up.
This game looks nuts. It's a hybrid of a 2D Metroidvania, but then it's also got like turn-based RPG element battles.
Yeah. So that really intrigues me.
Yeah, this thing is reviewed incredibly well. So I'm gonna probably try to grab that. That thing is just made for the Switch. Like it's on every platform, but it's on the Switch, and that's where I'm gonna play
for the Switch.
This
on that
is
one
screaming
too.
for the Switch, but yeah, it's called Indivisible. You guys check out the trailer. This game looks fucking sweet.
I'm into it.
And it looks really, really good. So I'm going to check that out. I'm also going to check out John Wick Hex because that game, I love Mike Bithell. Volume was a great game, and this looks like a real cool take with the IP. You're playing as John. And what's awesome is Ian McShane and Lance Reddick actually voicing their characters. Ian McShane is Winston.
He's Winston at the Continental.
At the Continental, and then obviously Lance Reddick, better known as Zavala from Destiny.
There you go.
He's also in it. So those two guys are voice acting in it. Game looks awesome, so I'll be checking that out.
But no Keanu?
No Keanu. Obviously, Keanu. Well,
You're beautiful.
He's making Cyberpunk again. He's making Cyberpunk 2077.
You're beautiful.
Time. Breathtaking.
Breathtaking, whatever.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking, yeah.
You're breathtaking.
Beautiful,
so
whatever.
I'll be streaming that at some point, but you'll be streaming a lot of Breakpoint. I'm sure we'll have a lot of that
Mostly
as well.
Breakpoint for the most part going forward. You'll see me on some Ultra Street Fighter 4. No, I'm coming for you again. Don't worry.
Oh, man. Wow, he's talking shit. He's really getting off on this, guys. His pants... Wow, really? Is that going on right now?
Yeah, it's happening. I'm sorry.
My God in heaven. Okay,
we're
gonna have to wrap this up before he splooges. But hey, look, we really appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight. We really appreciate it. This is just the first episode. Obviously, we need your feedback. If you watched the show, whether you watched it live, let us know in the comments. If you watch it on YouTube, this video will be uploaded on YouTube and I believe on our Facebook channel or Facebook pages later this week.
Yep.
And if you check it out there, let us know your thoughts, what you like, what you don't like. We need that feedback so we can make sure we tailor the show to your liking because we want you here every single week. We love interacting with you guys and girls in the chat. We appreciate the support. The conversation was great tonight. Had the chat not completely crashed on this monitor,
we apologize about
it would have
that.
been a lot easier for us to interact. So we missed a lot of those the comments that were made. We'll have that rectified and straightened out for the next show. Like I said, this is just kind of a learning process. We're still trying to tweak out some things, but hopefully the quality, hopefully the mic issues have been resolved. We had some issues with that during our pilot run. So But man, seriously, this has been fun. This is what we love to do. We love to talk about video games. We love to talk about movies. We love to talk about beer. We love to talk about whatever. It's always a good time, and it's only fun if you guys and girls tune in. So we really, really appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. All the Tater Tot boys were here tonight. We had a lot of them in here tonight.
Yeah,
Prime
appreciate you,
Gaming,
boys.
March 0323,
Ladies.
Clad Crow was in there. I mean, it's awesome. The support is great.
Yeah, and again, sorry for the chat. That's why we pulled up our phones. We're doing the whole looky-loo down here is because honestly, like he was saying something about his chat, and then I realized, oh shit, there's probably people in my chat.
Yep.
So we apologize, guys. Hey, we're gonna get some kinks out here or there, but yes, exactly what dude says. Let us know what you think. What do you want more from us? Clearly, we want to be more interactive with the chat. We'll get that fixed, and let us know. We're gonna be trying to go for bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly right now is the plan, and then we'll see what happens from there. So,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, typically right now, I would expect bi-weekly through the holidays. Probably the best bet. It makes it a little bit easier with everything going on and stuff like that. But, tweaks can always be made. It's like Destiny. Things can always be improved or changed.
Fixed. But, yeah, so we can move days, and we may have to move days
we
around.
may have
my
to.
schedule gets really revolving this time of year, and sometimes just the stress of everything can... so
that's when the stress kicks in. You'll have like 12 of these on the table in front of us, and the age gate will be put up right away.
Yeah, we'll bring a pony keg in here or something, do some keg stands. But yeah, check our Twitters, check everything. You can follow me at Fanboytone, Twitter, Instagram, Fanboytone as well too. Check the Facebook page. Just look for Tater Tot Boys. It's pretty easy to find all that. The Dude79 on Twitter, the Real Dude79 on Instagram. And the Dude79 on Facebook as well too.
Yes, sir.
Check all the channels in case we do any dates. If we have to move around stuff, or if we know, like today 2 weeks from now we'll be live.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely keep you updated. If there's going to be a change to a day, we'll let you know well in advance. But if you can be there, we would love to have you in the conversation. Like I said, we'll be much more observant of the chat next time. I already know what we can do to fix the issue, so that won't be a problem. But honest to God, it's watching you guys talk in the chat and throwing out your comments and being able to interact with it. That's exactly what we want to do. I can talk to this guy for hours on end. I really can. And it's nice to be able to get other people involved in that. And that's kind of what we're doing. I mean, obviously we're gamers and we like to stream games. But at the same time, there's other things, man. There's other things. And I think Mixer is an excellent platform to discuss those other things, whether it be movies, TV shows, comics, books, anything. And that's the beauty of this. We want to get together and just have a conversation.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it any better.
Awesome. Well, hey, for Mr. Fanboytone,
I'm
the most deviant Ultra Street Fighter 4 fighter, too.
That's true.
Everybody knows it. Noel knows it. He knows it. I'm the Dude79. We're here on behalf of the Tater Tot Boys. Make sure you follow all the Tater Tot Boys. I'm gonna try to do this off memory. Watch this. Prime Gaming, Joey Shinobi, Fanboytone, the Couch Bum, Veteran Gamer, Marge0323, Sweet Muffin Gaming, Toxic Monsters, Mr. Bang Average, got them all.
Hey, Clad Crow.
Clad Crow.
Joey Shinobi.
Fatafox. Yeah, I said Joey.
Ren Fox.
Ren Fox. There's so many god darn Tater Tot Boys.
Ninja.
Yeah, Ninja. We haven't. Oh, that was the big announcement we were supposed to talk
that
about.
was it.
Ninja.
Whoa, sorry.
Join the Tater
went
Tot
over
Boys.
or whatever.
Don't run with this. Don't run with that. Don't tell anybody.
Shit.
Don't tweet that.
Nobody
Don't
believes
say
that
anything.
shit.
You'll look really stupid.
No,
and
you
Ninja
don't
will
give a
probably
fuck
sue
about
us.
me.
So, but hey, we really appreciate you guys and girls for stopping by. Really, really appreciate the support. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Follow all the social media networks that he mentioned. We'll let you know what days we'll be live, but Wednesdays are the ideal. We might have to change them once in a while, but thank you so much for being here for the inaugural episode of Banter and Babble.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Night, everybody.
Yeah.